NXT Tuesday Night Way. That's Zilla Fatu. That's Zilla Fatu. It's amazing. They had this guy's whole history ready right in front of them. They knew everything about Zilla.
Well, who doesn't?
That's the former TNA heavyweight champion. He's here. He is here.
They are some people get the who's that? But in this case, I mean, being a Fatu, they were treating it like it was a big deal.
Well, the better response was that this crowd knew who he was as well. Like, they responded like this was a big surprise at the end. There were chants for him. I mean, he came off really well in this debut overall. Didn't try any code reds, but he what he did hit looked good. And so he showed up interrupting the number one contenders matches, or number one match between Grayson Waller and Cruz Montana. That match ends in a no contest, and then he was eyeing Tony D'Angelo, who was at ringside on commentary. So, it's possible they're just going to go to a four-way with all of these guys right out of the gate rather than do any one particular match with all these challenges for D'Angelo.
Could be. I had suspected whether or not they would throw him right onto the main roster, but putting him in NXT, I think is a smart move. Number one, is he ready? Is he mature enough? Is he,
is he mentally ready?
Is he mentally ready? Sure. I mean, these are legitimate questions, though. Maybe you could ask. But secondly, like, it's a bit crowded, even for the Fatus, even for the Anoa'i family right now on the main roster. And I think like establishing a name down in NXT where he could be the big fish in the small pond, I think is a good move for him. NXT could also, like, there's been a real injection of fresh blood in NXT recently with Waller, with Cruz Montana, and now with Zilla Fatu. And it's kind of making NXT a bit more exciting and a bit more worth watching. I mean, you kind of started off a good chunk of this new generation with a bunch of unknowns, and not to say Zilla Fatu is a household name, but his last name is a household name. And therefore I think already establishes some sort of like presence, some sort of bloodline relationship and relevance to a show that otherwise, still feels like it's a bunch of like unknowns. So all of that feels positive. I thought like the beatdown here was nice and intense. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him.
And trained by Booker T, which I think will help him in NXT when you have that connection on commentary. Like we saw what it did for Roxanne Perez, and I think that they're very different characters, the two of them. But I think that just having Booker there with that history, I think that will, it's something extra that he has here in NXT. But the main thing was like this crowd really reacted to him well. They were not confused who this was. It got a good chant. And it was a surprise on what had been not a flat edition of NXT, but something that I think they wanted to have something of substance to end the show. And they provided it here.
Yeah.
So Heatwave is coming up on August the 30th. Our double heat waves from AAA and from NXT. And we're starting to get some matches set up. Zarya is going to defend her Women's North American belt against Ren Sinclair in a rematch from last night, where both belts will be on the line. And then Kendall Gray will finally defend against Kalani Jordan at Heatwave. That is going to be, Kendall Gray comes back next week from her big ear injury. And then we will also have a four-way next week to determine who gets a shot at Rey Fenix's AAA Cruiserweight title with Romeo Moreno, Tristan Angels, La Parca, and E.K. Prosper. E.K. Prosper, who just played the role of Sean Spears on Tuesday night and just took his spot in the match. No update on Sean Spears. He just didn't show up. So E.K. Prosper just entered the match.
Yeah, I imagine there'd be some reason that they're holding back on. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say I'm all that interested.
Yeah. How do you think this doubleheader is looking up against All in London?
I mean, there's no comparison, right? It's just, I don't know. Are they taking any sort of slice out of AEW? How big is that slice? Maybe that's a question you can ask. We also maybe don't know all the main events yet, so it's hard to say exactly how much interest they'll draw from them that day. Nor do we know of any sort of special attractions that are being advertised for either show just yet.
Well, maybe they're going to tell. Maybe they're going to be twisting the arm of Punk when he shows up at that house show this weekend. He's like, "Hey, Punk, we could really use you."
Certainly wouldn't surprise you. Like, I mean, I thought they'd have Roman on either one of these shows. So
I don't know.
If not Roman, then I don't know. Maybe one of these others.
Yeah. For promo purposes, I think that's the most you could hope for on this type of a show for any of your main roster guys. But anyway, we will see what this evening or day shapes up to be as well. We are wrapping up the summer big on the Post Wrestling Cafe as John Pollock and Neil Flanagan are flying to London, England for live on-the-ground coverage of AEW All in London. Also this month, we conclude our reviews of Dark Side of the Ring and WWE Unreal Season 3, reviews of ROH's Death Before Dishonor and TNA Lockdown, Rewind Away will cover the WWF Aggression album, and Book Club will cover Total Nonstop Agony by Vince Russo. Sign up now at postwrestlingcafe.com.